Welcome to Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. My name is Unkarabile Wisdom Mukoto and I am your host. We have heard that there is no glory without a story. There is no message without a mess. There is no gain without a pain. I believe that every one of us has a story to tell, but there are stories that can change our lives forever. Richard Rambau is one of the legends who has a story that can inspire, encourage, and motivate generations to come. He is here today on Inspired Conversations to share more about his story. Mr. Richard Rambau, sir, thank you for coming to the show and you are welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Let's just start knowing who is Mr. Richard Rambau.
Richard Rambau is just a village boy, born and bred into a village called Ntabarara. Later I moved to Maira, where I finished my secondary education. A university graduate, a qualified manager, leader, author of 4 books, titled Pathways to a Greater Success. I've discovered a witch, women, be wise, and the story behind the glory. I'm also a motivational speaker who is also a radio contributor. That's just a bit about me.
Okay. And Mr. Rambau, I mean, you speak about great things, good things that you have achieved, being a graduate, a radio contributor. But one will not know where do you come from. I mean, no one will know that a graduate, a qualified manager, was once a security guard. Yeah. I believe that's where the last book came in, the story behind the glory. Yes. Just tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, you said you dropped out at university because of your disadvantaged background. What was that disadvantaged background? And after that, what happened?
Okay. I actually grew up with a single mother who was not working. I'm talking about an uneducated single mother. We were, I think, 6. Yeah, but at that time when I was growing up, it was only 3 siblings that we were with, and then the rest had their own families as well. So what was happening is that no one was providing for us except my mother. But imagine the pain of a woman providing for kids while she's not working, no income coming through. She was young, there was no grant, nothing. But that woman was struggling and she pushed so hard that she made sure that we don't go to bed with an empty stomach. So that has been the struggle until I came to my mother's rescue in 2010. But before that, I've been doing a lot of things. I tried several businesses before just to make sure that at least we get bread at home in assisting my mother. So that has been my life until I got to realize that I've been given a gift, which is speaking. That is what actually I'm doing now. But my main purpose or my main vision or my main dream was to become a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I knew from an early age that I'm going to be a very good lawyer. Then when I passed my matric, I passed it with flying colors. That was in 2009. And in my class, if I remember, I was the only one who passed with bachelor. And unfortunately, there was no one who could take me to school. So I had to go do this type of small jobs and all those things. But the most painful part of my life was in 2010 from January right until June. At that time, I decided to come to Joburg. When I'm here, I was not working. I was looking for a job. I had no place to stay because the place that I was staying at, I was not that welcome. So it was a bit of a struggle. I used to walk a distance from Diepsloot to Fourways. I think it is almost 2 to 3 hours walk, just in search of a job. I remember one time when I was looking for a job, I got to the other restaurant. I said I was looking for a job there. And then it happened that the day that I went there, it was not only myself. So it was Friday. So we were told to come back again on Monday. And then I went there on Monday, having to wake up at 4 o'clock. And then I couldn't even have that time to bath because I knew that in the house I was not that welcome. So I didn't have that freedom to just do as I please. So I just woke up and then wiped my face and go. And then when we got there, we were given a test, we were interviewed, and during that test, I was the one who got the highest mark. It was 98%. And then I was very happy that I'm going to get a job when they gave us the results. Just to find out at a later stage that, you know what, I'm still underage. They hire only from the age of 18. At that time, I was 17 years old. So I was turned down there just like that to say, young man, you are a very, very brilliant somebody we can see. But we cannot hire you. You're still underage. You can come back only when you are 18 years old. And at that time, I was 17. And I think it was around January or February 2010. Then I had to go back home without eating anything, walking that long distance, disappointed. I was actually on the edge of giving up. But I pushed until I got the other opportunity. I was just walking around the street of Diepsloot. So I saw these guys in the corner. They were busy chatting, and there was this man inside of the circle. Then I was interested to know what were they talking about. So I went closer, just to realize that that man was looking for construction workers. So I went there and listened to the conversation. I realized that, okay, they're looking for people. And then at that time, it was only 9 guys. The guy was looking for 10 people. I said, I'll be the 10th one. Then they said, no, you're very, very young. We're going to do serious stuff there. I said, no, I will do it. Remember, I'm still 17 years old at that time. I said, no, I will do it. And then they waited for over an hour thinking that somebody will come. Nobody came. Then they had no choice but to just take me. And I can tell you that nobody believed that I would do that job. They took me in, and then we went to see the site that we were going to work at. It was not something big, but the job itself was a very heavy job. And then first day we went to see the environment. The second day we went there, we cleaned up and built up the tents and all those things. On the third day, we were told that no, we are going to dig 6 meters long and 1 meter down hole. You on your own, you have to do that. So all of us, the 10 of us, we were measured. That 6 meters were measured for all of us to dig. We started, we pushed. At 11 o'clock, first 2 people quit. I continued. Around 1 o'clock, when we were on lunch, the other guys just decided to disappear, 3 of them. Then we were left with 5. And then we carried on until around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. At that time, by 3:30, I was already done with my space. So I was just waiting for others to complete. And at that time, I think if I remember correctly, 6 guys that we were working with were actually the Zimbabweans. And then we believe that those guys from outside, they can work. They work. But at that day, some of them had to just disappear. And I remember that night, I couldn't wake up because my whole body was in pain. And I couldn't move my neck like this because of the job that I've been doing. And then the following morning, just as a surprise, I managed to wake up. And I decided to go back again. To my shock, when I got there, it was only the 3 of us. The rest of the guys disappeared. Then we were forced to continue. Then that has been something I did for 2 weeks. And then after that, I realized that, you know what, I cannot survive in that industry.
But you got paid for that?
Yeah, for that. Actually, the agreement was such that we will get paid on 49.
Okay.
So after 2 weeks, I got paid. And that's when now I decided that let me go do a security. Yeah. So I went to security class to obtain my grades with the same money that I worked for.
Yeah.
And then I got it. I think it was March, if I'm not mistaken. And then when I went to register for SIRA, I was told that no, you don't qualify to register for SIRA because you are still underage. You must come back after the 17th of June, which is my birthday. That's when I will be 18. And then I had to remain again for another 2 months. Then after that, I went to SIRA. Then they allowed me, I registered. I went to join the other company right from registration because the company that I worked for is a security. At that time, they could allow us to work with just a SIRA receipt.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's how I joined the company. And then I worked from there. I was posted at a retail store. I was actually a retail officer. And then we worked. I was actually interested on what the managers do there, because I knew that security is just a step later for me to get to where I wanted to see myself. But it was not my dream job. And then I worked. When I got there with an intention to learn, not to make money, because I knew there was no money in security. Then I learned as much as I could, in a point whereby I got to a point whereby no one could resist me.
Now, I want to know, when you learned from the managers, you're talking about the retail managers, not the security ones. Did your managers, the security managers, give you that chance, that opportunity? Were they not disturbing you to learn from retail managers? Because remember, you are from another company.
Yeah.
So were they not? Did they have a problem for you to learn from the managers, the shop managers?
I was doing it very smart.
Okay.
The focus point for security industry into the company is that you must please the client. Mm-hmm. So if the client is asking you, who at that time was the retail managers, to do a certain thing, you must just do it, because you don't want to get that client disappointed. So I was very, very smart on that. I did it in a form of working. Okay. It was more like I'm helping the client. Okay. But the real intention for me was to learn. Because every single time you'd find my colleagues come to me, "Hey Richard, the post here shot Talapana, you must go cover." And then I would say, "Mr. Whoever person who is the manager asked me to do this. Even if he didn't ask me, I just went there by myself." Yeah. You understand? So it has been like that until I earned trust from those managers. They could trust me in anything that they wanted, in a way that even when I was on day off, I would come to the store just to assist. Yeah. So I was that person whom you can never ever ignore. Yeah. Into a point where the new employees of that company couldn't even differentiate my position if I was a security or I was a manager, because I was doing everything in that store. So that's how now they decided that, you know what, we're wasting this guy's time. Let's put this guy into a training program. Then we just make him a manager once and for all.
That's great. Now, I want to know, before that, what are the challenges, before you begin to learn from the managers and they gave you that opportunity to go and learn to be a manager? What are the challenges that you found yourself as a security guard? You know, I mean, I know that security guards are being undermined. That's what we know. Yeah. They've been looked down upon as people who are not educated, who are not intelligent. And here you are. I mean, you have passed with bachelor degree. You know, you dropped out from university, but here you are now. You are at the door. You know, you are signing in the guest. You are searching the guest and stuff. What was the challenge? What were the challenges for you as a security guard? What challenge?
Actually, the challenges that I came across, to me, was not a challenge. Was something that made me who I am today. I remember when I got there. A very young security guard, and then I used to be called Matsawa Skolo. And then the rest of the employees would say to me, "When I might just go back to school." And at that time, that is when I managed to save a little bit of money and went to university, where I ended up dropping out because I couldn't afford. And then they would say all those things, but I took it very positively. I used to say, if these people see that I deserve to go to school, it simply means they know, they can see that I do not deserve to be there. So that made me push even harder to go to where I am today. So those are some of the challenges. And the other thing is that, when you start to be trusted by the client, the rest of your colleagues feels intimidated. You understand? They get to think now that you are impimpi, in the workplace. This one is impimpi. Yeah. And then that is something that I had to deal with. But at the same time, I wasn't worried about what people were saying about me. I was worried about the fact that I am not ready to miss out onto the opportunity of learning. Yeah. That is one thing I was focused about. I didn't care. A lot of things have been said, and a lot of things had happened in a way that, I was in a retail store, like I'm saying. So I used to make a lot of arrests to the shoplifters and all those things. And that also came with its own challenge, because I got to a point where by a day I would arrest 5 people. I became the number 1 arrester in that store. But I was doing well for the business, but when I go out of the street, I wouldn't feel free to walk on the street because those suspects were looking for me left, right, and center. That is one thing that I had to deal with. But I was always positive about it. in a way that even when I go to malls, I couldn't go to the mall alone. I had to get other people to just walk with, so that if something happens, then we can be able to fight the battle together.
Now, tell us about after your managers took you to learn more about being a manager, now to become a qualified manager. What happened after?
The agreement was such that I will have to train for 2 years to become a qualified manager. But as shocking as it may sound, I only trained for 5 months. Then they appointed me to be a sales manager. Because at that time when they put me to the training program, I was already qualified because I had learned enough.
Exactly.
So they just realized that, this guy knows everything. So why must he wait for 2 years? Then they appointed me.
So did you go back to the same store that you were working as security guard?
No.
Oh, okay. They took
They gave me another store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I would sometimes go there and help during stock takes and all that during my training.
So those people that knew you there in that store, what did they say when they see you as a manager now?
It was very difficult for them to adapt. In the retail industry where I work, normally the managers are respected. We call them with their titles, Mr. Minier. You understand that? So it was just a challenge on them to switch from calling me the way they used to call me, and now they had to address me in a new way because I was now their manager. It was just tough, and I could tell that it was not something that they were willing to adapt to, but they had no choice. They ended up doing it.
So tell me, Mr. Rambau, looking back where you come from, what can you say to yourself? Or what are you saying to yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Like, what is it that when you look where you come from and now, you say to yourself?
What I say to myself actually is that at least I've got a foundation. A lot of things are happening in my life. You're saying it. I'm doing well. A lot of books I'm writing. I'm speaking here and there. This and that is happening. But I still call this as a foundation because I see myself as a billionaire. And I see myself as somebody who's going to change millions of lives. When I look at what I've done so far, there's almost or over 100 people that I've taken. Some of them I stood with them, provided food for them, and helped them to get the jobs and helped them to become independent. I've been doing that ever since I got the opportunity to become who I am, and I'm still doing it. So I believe that I should be able to reach millions of lives. So this, I just call it a foundation. Other people see it as success, but to me it's just a foundation. At least now you can be able to be listened to. But for that, I can say, I think I'm proud of myself.
That's good. I'm proud of you also. Now, there is someone who is watching the program now as we speak. It's a security guard, that person has matric, or maybe has dropped out from university, She knows that he is not supposed to be where she is as a security guard. You were a security guard before, but against all odds, you managed to be where you are today. What can you say to that person?
What I want to say is that, allow me to respond to this question in this way. When you plant a seed, your target is not to get a seed. Your target is to get the fruit. Planting a seed is just a process that you have to follow before you get those fruits. After planting it, it takes a hell lot of process. You have to water it, you have to protect it, and all those type of things. That is, remember, that process is not your target. It's not your focus point. It's not something that you want to do. You just have to do it for you to get those results at the end of the day. You must understand that if you are a security today and you know that you are not happy about, I can tell that a lot of people that are securities or cleaners or whatever, they are not there because they want to be there. That is just a process that's going to get them to where they want to be. But that becomes a permanent thing if they don't work on changing their lives. You find people that are settled to say, I'm a security, I want to go work as a security for the rest of my life. That becomes a problem. But if you use the security job as just a process to get you to where you want to go, you know that you need that money. It's either for you to go to school, you need that money, maybe to advance your life, you need that money to do so many things. So understand that that job is temporary. It's not a permanent job. For you to understand that this is temporary, it will help you not to make a permanent decision out of a temporary job. For an example, you can't say now I'm a security and then I have to learn to live with this 4,000 that I'm getting or whatever the case, if you know that you are able to get even more.
Yeah.
So understand that is just a process. Because it's a process, it should lead you somewhere. But all that will come from you, what you are doing with your life.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And I mean, above all these things, you mentioned earlier that, I mean, you believed that all these things was God's way to you. So, the role of God in your life. Tell us about the role of God in your life.
I believe that whatever that is happening and the opportunity that I've been given, it is not through my wisdom. There are a lot of people that are very wise out there that are struggling to even get to where I am. That's just grace. I was born and bred in a Christian way, and I'm still a Christian even today. I've never went out of line when it comes to that. So I understand that if I managed to make the impossible seems possible, it simply means God is with me. And whatever that I do, I put God first. Anything that I want to do, I put God first. Because I believe that it's only God that doesn't change. And it's only God that gives us things that we don't deserve and don't expect the returns. People have got a tendency when they help you tomorrow, they expect to get the returns out of doing that. But only God, I always say, He loves us with our imperfections. But imperfect people hate us for our imperfections. It is only God who leads us to where we want to see ourselves.
Mr. Rambau, if people want to get hold of you to get more of your books, I mean, I believe you are launching 3 books very soon, on the 6th of April.
Yeah.
If people want to go to the launch, if they want to buy your first book, The Pathway to Success, yes, where can they get hold of you?
People can get hold of me on my WhatsApp, and there's number 082-755-0703. And again, on my Facebook, I go by the name of Richie Rambau. I've got a Facebook page, Richard Rambau Motivational Page, and they can also get hold of us on my website, www.richardrambau.co.za.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an inspirational conversation.
Thank you very much.
You know, I believe that really you are a legend, you know. And I believe millions of lives will be changed, as you have said.
Thank you very much.
So God bless you, and really may He continue to grow you so that you can touch billions, if possible, of lives.
It is possible, I believe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. My name is Onkarabile Wisdom Mukoto, and I'm saying to you, let's meet next time, same place on Global Conference TV. The journey continues.